Hey, yo, I know I'm late, so I'm just gonna, I know it says 2 minutes left, but I'm just starting now. So just, let's just go. Let's just do it, because I gotta do this. All right, turn that down. Hello, there's my face. Good morning, everybody. Running late today. Of course, part of this because I was in a Twitter discussion, aka the app formerly known as Twitter. Anyway, we got a lot to go through today, and I want to get to it, so we're going to start early. And this is it. This is the pre-intro. That's it. No more pre-intro. Johnny, turn that off and play the real intro. Okay? Yeah. Now. Yeah, right now. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yeah, that's me. Did that intro even play? Oh, that's weird. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we talk about news, social commentary, and other crap that's happening in the world Monday through Friday at this time. It is Tuesday, the 14th of November, 2023. For those who aren't paying attention to the calendar, or in case you have a doctor's appointment you forgot about or something like that. And welcome to my show. I hope you all are having a good morning. Let's say hi to everybody and get it going, because like I said, I'm way behind. So, first in the chat over on Rumble, Mr. Avocados Diabli gets the bell for being first. Also, good morning, our friend Jimmy Das Hotep from Hotep Nation. And also, Papa Hotep making an appearance. Good morning, sir. Nice to have you here. And that's everyone on Rumble. I'm sure there's more. Let me see. Let me look. It only says there's 4, and that's all 4 of us. So, wait, 1, 2, 3. Well, somebody just showed up there. I don't know. We'll see if anyone shows up on Rumble. On YouTube, good morning, Avocados Diabli gets the bell on YouTube also. Good morning. Also, Somnambul Nation. I didn't tweet out the show today, and I think, did anybody do that? I didn't even tweet out the show. Yes, let's see. Some people have. Somnambul Nation has tweeted out the show, the YouTube version, and looks like, what the hell happened there? I don't want that. I was in my notifications. There we go. And thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for doing the same. I appreciate you guys for doing that. I didn't tweet out Rumble, but anyway, I'm reposting. There it is. I reposted the show from Jimmy Das Hotep and Somnambul Nation. Thank you for doing that. Also, good morning to, again, Jimmy Das Hotep. Aaron Meredith's in the house. Good morning, Bookworm Addict. The Grand Inquisitor, Tyre Alexander, is in the house. Wait a minute. Did the stream die? No, what's that? What'd you do that for, Somnambul Nation? I'm not sure why you did that. Why is that little blinky thing there? Anyway, good morning also. Frankie Deller's in the house, GDSOB. And that's it, because the notifications haven't even gone out for this show. So if you're not going to hear me say this. If you're watching a replay, you're getting the bonus of the entire show. Anyway. So let's just get into it, because I don't have a lot of time, and I got a lot of stuff to talk about. I decided to leave all the Israel stuff today, since it's in the news every day. Thank you for putting the Rumble show out there too, Jimmy Das Hotep, by the way. If perchance you want to get caught up in the Israel stuff, I have it at the end of the show. I'm not going to get to it. There's a lot going on. I mean, I'll mention one thing. Apparently the Biden administration is having a conflict with Mr. Biden himself. A couple of interesting articles there. You'll see when you get to it. If I don't get to it, you can look it up yourself. Anyway, let's get into the things that are happening in the world now, things that are trending in the world, particularly on that app known as X, formerly known as Twitter. It is now. I see that tall person's not here yet, or maybe not. May not be here today. But I do want to let you know that today we always have a special holiday going on just about every day, and today it's none other than National Pickle Day. It's National Pickle Day. All right. I am so excited for National Pickle Day. Why? I don't know why. It just is. Governor Dill says, Happy National Pickle Day to those who celebrate. Governor Dill. You know, the problem with National Pickle Day, I got to be very careful about scrolling. Because, you know, I might see some flesh pickles, and I don't want to see that on my screen. So let's see. I'm just going to mention a couple of these. Someone says, I don't want to alarm anyone, but National 14th is National Pickle Day. That's someone called Telya saying, telling you that it's National Pickle Day with that little, that graphic there. Okay, now I have to be very careful. I can't scroll with the thing open. Wait, what did Tyre say that's so funny? Oh, so P-Dog would be the one that finds that out. Okay, I'm not sure what we're talking about here. Anyway, yeah, there's someone put a video of a baseball pickle. If you know what a baseball pickle is, raise your hand in the chat with a 1. That dude got out of that one. And as I predicted, there's the first. Yeah, that's why I don't scroll in this kind of stuff. All right, moving on. Also, today is a historic day in American education. 63 years ago today, 6-year-old Ruby Bridges integrated William Frantz Elementary School in New Orleans, Louisiana. Many, including white moderates, believe she was out of order. Thank you to Ruby Bridges for being out of order. That's Bernice King who wrote that. Again, so that's a big day. Schools being integrated in New Orleans and across the South. I mean, it's funny because now we're getting to the point where now they're going to try to segregate the schools again. In some places, if you go to certain colleges, they're doing everything they can to segregate them. So anyways, 63 years ago, this is Billie Jean King, 63 years this week. Ruby Bridges became the first black child to integrate an all-white school in New Orleans, Louisiana. She was escorted by federal marshals to ensure her safety. Protesters screamed horrible words at her. Each one of us has much work left to do. Well, speak for yourself, Billie Jean. My work is done, I guess. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Good morning, Nomad's in the house. How you doing, Nomad?
Hammer time.
And Tyre's over on Rumble also. So yeah, that's a big day in history, and I'm of the ilk of can't we all get along? You know what I mean? So anyway, stay safe. Don't land yourself in a pickle today. Yes, I will be staying safe. All right, moving on. Also, the inflation numbers out for October. And apparently 3.2% easing is called easing now. Now, I find this humorous because I'm trying to figure out what month it was really bad. That were really bad last year, or maybe it was earlier this year. But so inflation easing, CPI, Consumer Price Index, is up 3.2% in October on an annual basis. Dems hope to benefit politically. Problem, as New York Times pointed out last week, yes, inflation has fallen this year. While sharply, it's still higher than it was before the, sponge brain shit pants took office. But prices have not fallen. Only their rate of increase has. And when you combine the inflation from the 3 years of the Biden administration, it's around 14%. Total since Biden came in office. So, but as you scroll down and you read how they describe this, like for example, here's ABC News. Just in, consumer prices rose 3.2% in October compared to a year ago, cooling significantly from the previous month and exceeding economists' expectations. Like this is some grand, yes, oh my gosh, Biden's Inflation Reduction Act is working. It's lowering inflation. No, it's not, because that means prices still went up. You dumb shits. Anyway, and it's causing the 10-year note to drop sharply, which actually for 4.9%. Well, that's not sharply. Holy God. I hate when they do this. Okay, look at this graph. Okay. I hate when they do this with graphs. If they don't start good morning, Gun Fox. How you doing, brother? Nice to see you. When they have a graph and it goes like this, you see these numbers, it goes way up here and then all of a sudden it drops down all the way down here. That's CPI inflation. It hits 3.2%. but the scale starts at 4 point whatever. So that's not an honest graph. That is a lying with statistics example. And I hate when they do it. But anyway, so and again, even in the Washington Examiner, inflation fell to 3.2% in October, a positive sign for the economy. Well, remember, I don't think inflation ever went over like 2% during the Trump, I think it was 2.4% might have been the highest during the Trump administration, the entire 4 years. So anyway, breaking U.S. headline, inflation has dropped to 3.2%, lower than expected. Core CPI dropped to 4%, also lower than expected. Again, NBC News, inflation tumbles to 3.2%. Wait a minute, tumbles? From like 3.4% to 3.2%? That's tumbling? How about if it was negative, so prices are going down? They're not. Anyway. Oh, Gary here. President Biden is getting it done. Inflation cooled to 3.2% last month, likely ending Fed rate hikes. Well, that's good that at least they're ending the Fed rate hikes, which probably were unnecessary. So anyway, and then they go to Corp CPI, which is 0. It said they expect a 0.32% increase in October core CPI versus 0.3% consensus, corresponding year-to-year rate of 4.13%. That's a whole bunch of numbers. Prices still went up compared to last year, which were up compared to the year before, which were up compared to the year before. We're not getting any relief, folks. Sorry. God, they're such bullshit artists. All right, what do I got next here? Let's see. Oh, for some reason, Chris Cuomo is trending. And the reason Chris Cuomo is trending is mostly because he had Vivek Ramaswamy on his show. And I guess it got a little heated. Now here is, and I'm going to just show you one little clip from this that Vivek Ramaswamy put up here where he apparently humiliates. Well, whose clip am I going to put? I'm going to put Colin Rugg's version of this clip, even though I think it might be the same clip. Let's just try this one, okay? Let me put this on the screen in a second. I got this all set up already? I think for once, I actually have this set up today. And yes, I do. So let's watch this clip. Chris Cuomo, who, now here, let me give you a little background. You know about Chris Cuomo, right? Former Governor Mario Cuomo's brother. Or not Mario. What's the Cuomo? That's Mario Cuomo's his dad. The other Cuomo that left the office in disgrace. Anyway, and Chris has always been, when he was at CNN, he was, reliably left-wing establishment Democrat talking point artist, right? And now he does this show on News Nation. He's in theory a little. Thank you, Andrew. He's a little bit more. He's coming off as more middle of the road, and he's supposed to be this and that. So anyway, he had Vivek on here, and I haven't even watched this clip, but I just wanted to. It was on here, and this is why he's trending. So I figured we'll watch the clip. Here we go.
Why do you keep going at Nikki Haley? Why do you think this is going to bear fruit?
Chris, I don't know what you've been smoking, man. You and the rest of the mainstream media. It's laughable. Nikki Haley's been going after me the whole campaign. First debate, second debate. She's been trailing me for much of the time, but I realize the establishment media has realized that there's a puppet they want to put up. I'm not playing that game. The grassroots of this country know they want a leader who isn't going to send us, our sons and daughters, to go die in foreign wars that racked up $7 trillion in debt. Dick Cheney 2.0 is taking over the GOP. Problem is the Democratic establishment media is now rooting for war, too. I'm the only candidate speaking for a true America First agenda on that debate stage, and I think we're going to be successful.
Vivek, how are you going to bring people together when you just put together a tapestry of conspiracies? You know that I'm not
conspiracies.
What are you
Conspiracies.
There's no tapestry.
She won't even come on my show.
Tapestry
what are you
of
talking about,
conspiracies.
Pepe?
I'm sure she doesn't.
Hold on a second. I let you put it out there, and now I get to finish smoking, and now I get to answer, which is,
what conspiracy you put out there?
The media is doing is putting up Nikki Haley against me because they know I'm the real deal. Please. She hasn't even been on my show. I'm just watching you get slapped around by her, and I'm wondering what your strategy is.
The fact of the matter is, Chris, My strategy is calling out the mainstream media like I did to Kristen Welker at the start of that debate. I asked her about the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, told her to look the audience in the eye and apologize to them. Just like I'll tell you,
Which
you're part
Chris
of the
won't do
mainstream
it.
media despite pretending
Chris
like
won't
you're
do it.
not. Look the audience in the eye and tell
I'm part
how
of the
you covered for your
mainstream
brother
media.
for all that happened.
I'm part of the
Absolutely
mainstream
you are.
media.
And you,
Hey, listen.
And you play the same games that the rest of the mainstream
you
media
don't wanna
does.
take care of
You're
your
doing
family?
it tonight.
That's
You're-
fine.
You
Vivek,
have been
I'm not playing a
covering for
game.
your
You
brother.
think-
You have been playing a game. You were
of
kicked
course I
off air
cover
at
for my
CNN.
brother.
So
Of course I help my brother. Of course I do.
And you know what? That's been journalistic standards that have now been failed, not just by you, but by every member of the broken political
so
media.
he's ripping him
yes,
for
it is
telling
gonna
his
take
brother.
down.
All right. Anyway, that's enough. You can watch the rest if you want. That's why he's trending. I don't know. He's all over Twitter for whatever reason for that. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, the first sponsor of the day. And Jimmy Das Hotep, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Put the big bullet in the tip jar. If you want to sponsor the show, pdognight.live, it'll probably, I'll link it up in the top of this over here, whatever thing, drop a deuce or more in the tip jar. Here, we'll pin that. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep. We'll get some music for this one. Maybe. Maybe. There we go. Jimmy Das Hotep with a 556 in the tip jar saying they normalized inflation to make their shit monetary policy more palatable. They have been fucking us for decades, pretending like it is normal. If we were all doing well, naturally, you would have some inflation. This government inflation is theft. FTG. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep. And that's why you are a great American. Spot on as always. Now, looks like we have another sponsor today, Mr. Gunfox61, dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar, and that makes you
the
new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Gunfox. Says, folks, this time the Democrats got him. Oh, they have him now. Oh, what is this about? What's this about? This is the wrong place. Let me just throw this up here. We'll drop this right before we get to the main topic today. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for dropping Jimmy Das Hotep and Gunfox for excuse me, sponsor the show. I'm dying. I do have my cup of reparations coffee. I can drink that. And it's the 1000th episode cup, which I never did make these. Would anyone want not a 1000th episode cup, but a Last Supper cup with the gang on here? I never did. I was gonna make those, but I thought, who's gonna buy that? I don't know. All right. Oh God. Oh, we'll get to it, Gunfox. I see what you just sent me. It's another readout blog post from MSNBC. All right. We got deflation. We did that. Where are we at? Oh, Kathy Hochul is trending. Now, I have an article on this later in the show, but the reason Kathy Hochul is trending is because apparently the New York governor is doing some data collection, just a little data collection, right? And the reason she's doing data collection is she's collecting data from surveillance efforts on social media to combat hate speech for your safety. Here's her words.
Also, we're very focused on the data we're collecting from surveillance efforts. What's being said on social media platforms. And
what? What?
We have launched an effort to be able to counter some of the negativity.
How?
Reach out to people
really? Is that your
when we
job?
see hate speech being spoken about on online platforms.
She doesn't seem to know
Our
who she's
media
talking. Speech about who? Hate speech about who?
Social media analysis unit.
Social
has
media
ramped up
analysis
its monitoring
unit.
of sites to catch incitement to violence, direct threats to others.
Oh, Gunfox, have a good sleep, sir. And also good morning, Andrew Thorsten. Yeah, man. After bed, it took me 3 hours to drive 50 miles due to retards can't drive. Oh, because you go the wrong way during rush hour. What is she talking about?
And all this is in response to our desire.
Response to
A
what?
strong commitment.
Is it?
to ensure that not only
The hate
New
speech against
Yorkers
Israeli people? Hi,
be
Brett
safe,
Hayes.
but they also feel safe. Because personal security is about everything for them. As I said, no one walking
Wait,
down the
wait,
street
wait,
or in
wait,
the
wait, wait,
subway.
wait, wait. I'm going to go back.
Strong commitment
To
to
who?
ensure that not only do New Yorkers
New Yorkers. Okay.
be safe, but they also feel safe.
What?
Because personal security is about everything for them. As I said, no one walking down the street or in a subway should feel they have to hide
Words on the internet.
any indications of what their religious beliefs are.
Oh,
We
she's
expect
talking
to see
about.
people celebrating their lives, walking about freely. And that is no longer the case because people are living in fear. They have a right to
Okay, I
do whatever
understand
they
what you're
want here in the
saying
state
here.
of New York.
That's because your law enforcement sucks, and you have prosecutors who let people out when they are doing violent crimes and shit. So, and even if she's talking about Jewish people, shouldn't be worried about hate speech. It's not the government. That's not her job. That's not the government job. Good morning, Shrapnel, by the way. Oh, good Lord. And hate speech, right. Hate speech. Now, if there are threats of violence, that absolutely is illegal. But hate speech? What do you mean, Kathy? So anyway, that's why she's trending. Now, let's see what other people are talking about it. I'm just looking at some of the comments. Chrissy Bear, so cool that my governor, Kathy Hochul, learned to speak Chinese because she has a hard time speaking. Today in New York, Governor Kathy Hochul announces the state has started conducting special media surveillance efforts to monitor hate speech. Yeah, boy, lots of people talking about this, and she has no business. The state has no business doing that. Unless there are actual threats of violence that are credible threats of violence, then sure, you might be able to do that. But just hate speech? Holy shit, what's wrong with you, woman? All right, we're already close to the main topic, so I'm going to go ahead. What the hell are you there? That's not right. Why is that on notifications? That should be on something else. Okay, well, something went wrong. All right, let's go ahead and do Gun Fox's article here real quick, because just because of the wonderful things he does. Oh, that's supposed to be Alejandro. Oh, okay, I fixed it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so anyway, Gun Fox article that he sent me and dropped a Hamilton in the tip jar to do. This would be this one right here. It's clearly it's the Readout blog, which means this is clearly editorial work. And they're a little concerned about Donald Trump and apparently attacks Paul Pelosi and Jack Smith's wife in a cowardly ploy. So this is interesting. And this is John Jones. As Trump faces legal, financial, and political trouble, he and his MAGA minions are resorting to a familiar tactic. They must have said some words. The MAGA movement is honing in on the spouses of Donald Trump's perceived adversaries as their leader's personal peril grows. Trump is known to lash out at the spouses and other family members of his political adversaries when he finds himself in political, financial, or legal trouble. Just ask Senator Ted Cruz, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Kaiser Khan, and former FBI Director Andrew McCabe and Senator Mitch McConnell. The strategy seems designed partly to goad Trump's political enemies into outbursts and partly to intimidate anyone else considering defying him. And as Trump faces a potentially calamitous civil trial, criminal charges in multiple states, and accelerating 2024 campaign, the former president and some of his followers are returning to the same tired playbook. Hello, JB. What's up? Last week, Trump supporters spread conspiracy theories about social... Oh, yes. This was okay, let me finish the sentence so you know before I laugh at it. Trump supporters spread conspiracy theories about a social media account purportedly run by the wife of Arthur Engoron. I know it's Engoron, but I like calling him Engoron. The judge presiding over Trump's civil fraud trial in New York City. Right-wingers identified an account they claim belonged to Dawn Engoron, which incited a slew of conspiracy theories. Really? Were they conspiracy? That was not a conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy theory. which incited a slew of conspiracy theories. The frenzy led to her to issue a statement to Newsweek denying that the account was hers. Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. In a speech in New Hampshire on Saturday, Trump yet again mocked Representative Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, joking about the brutal hammer attack he suffered at the hands of a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Whoa, wait a minute. The guy living inside of a bus outside of a commune type residence was a right-wing conspiracy theorist. The guy with the BLM flags and the transgender super rainbow flag is a right-wing conspiracy theorist. That guy with the hammer. Wow. But to MSNBC's, he's a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Holy shit. Let's see. Trump said, "We had no terror during my administration. The only terror which we had was Nancy Pelosi, crazed lunatic. What the hell what the hell was going on with her husband? Let's not ask. She had a wall around her house. Laughs. It didn't work very well." Okay, that's attacking Paul Pelosi. Okay. In the same speech, Trump claimed Special Counsel Jack Smith's wife and family despise me more than he does. Let's see what he said.
Deranged Jack Smith. Have you ever heard of him? He's a lovely man. Do you have a little thing? He's a lovely man. The Trump-hating prosecutor in the case, his wife and family despise me much more than he does, and he decides, I think he's about a 10. They're about a 15 on a scale of 10. And he was involved, Jack Smith,
Wait a minute.
the deranged one, I call him.
Is that it? Is that so? Oh, but that's the attack on the family. Anyway, throughout the year, Trump has repeatedly blobbed attacks at Smith's wife, who once worked as a producer on Michelle Obama's Becoming documentary. Oh, well, there you go. That's perfect. She hates Trump. Hello, Septifuls. It is, after all, much easier to basically smear Smith's loved ones than to provide any evidence that he is biased against Trump. we do ourselves a disservice if we merely chalk these remarks up to Trump's lack of civility or his gutter-style politicking. We know from congressional testimony and news interviews that targets of the MAGA movement, hate-mongering lies, and offensive social media screeds can face petty insults to assassination threats. Oh my God. Are you really going to bring up the death threat card? Let me guess. I'm going to guess that Donald Trump, because I've seen it on social media. Donald Trump gets the most vitriolic hate of probably any politicians from the left. And boy, some of them are just clamoring to have the death penalty for him for these federal charges. So I'm just curious, it's a funny thing when they project, but I'm pretty sure that there are crackpots everywhere that do death threats against various politicians. And so the whole death threat thing, people are stupidly brave on the internet and say stupid shit. And if you're going to say these are credible, you got to show me why it's credible. Anyway, now with Trump's financial, political, and legal futures in question, he and his followers are again resorting to cowardly strategy of spousal and familiar intimidation. Whatever. Get the hell out of here. Thank you, Gun Fox, for dropping that into my plate. All right. Biggest topic of the day, Alejandro Mayorkis, the DHS secretary, Department of Homeland Security. There was a vote yesterday in the House of Representatives to impeach Alejandro Mayorkis, okay? And that vote failed. Now, and I'm going to go with James Woods here because he makes a good point. Yeah, I thought at first that he might accomplish something, but if you can't impeach a loser like Mayorkis, you're a dud. And he's speaking of, I think he's speaking of Speaker Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House. Do you want to know why Mayorkas' impeachment ended up being sent to the DHS committee to die? Because Speaker Johnson is protecting Democrats. White Room McCarthy left off. Watch. Well, I don't know if that's the case. Andy Biggs, his official statement in his response to his colleagues effectively killing the opportunity to impeach Secretary Mayorkas tonight. Andy Biggs says, I'm appalled by tonight's decision to refer a motion to impeach Department of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas to committee. This House leadership ploy kills any chance of impeaching Secretary Mayorkas. I was the first member of Congress to file impeachment articles against the Secretary in 2021, as he is in dereliction of his constitutional duties, and he is a danger to the American people. I remain hopeful that at least my Republican colleagues would join in these efforts. Tonight, they sided with Democrats to protect Mayorkas instead of the American people. I'm disappointed in tonight's results, but will continue to fight for the American people and ensure America's sovereignty remains intact. Now, so anyway, tonight Republicans had a chance to hold Secretary Mayorkas accountable for his failures in protecting the homeland. Luckily for Mayorkas, weak Republicans can always be found when you need them. 8 members of the Grand Old Party voted against it, and 12 more didn't even vote. Now, how can you expect our votes in 2024? That's a good point. So here is the article from Breitbart on this. That is not it. Here we go. House kills Mayorkas impeachment resolution while preparing to punt border fight to 2024. Yeah, no, we need that fight right now. Hello, Darren Root. How you doing? And Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
The House voted 209 to 201 Monday night to sideline a resolution introduced by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene to impeach Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas for his disastrous mishandling of the border, even as House Speaker Mike Johnson greases the skids on a funding package that punts a broader border policy battle until the new year. Greene introduced the privileged resolution Friday, one day after 2 of her constituents were killed in Texas in a head-on collision with a driver by a human smuggler evading police. Privileged resolutions require House floor action within 2 legislative days after the introduction. Rather than voting on the underlying motion, Republican leadership chose to address the resolution through a Democratic motion to refer it to the Homeland Security Committee, which effectively kills it. The Democrats altered their motion before the vote after previously preferring a vote simply to table the resolution. Greene's resolution read that Mayorkas had engaged in a pattern of conduct that is incompatible with the laws of the United States, accusing him of willful admittance of border crossers, terrorists, human traffickers, drugs, and other contraband. Speaker Johnson's decision to table the resolution was a clear signal that it lacked the votes necessary for passage. Some Republicans have been hesitant to step away from sacred regular order. Greene and others argued that Mayorkas' dereliction at the border has been made abundantly apparent through numerous committee hearings throughout the year, negating the need to waste time with formalities. Johnson's decision to accede to the Democrats' demands to toss Mayorkas' impeachment into a committee recycling bin comes the same afternoon as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell announced support for Johnson's continuing resolution. Government funding plan. Well, there we go. So the new leadership is the same as the old leadership. The Johnson continuing resolution postpones a fight on President Biden's border policy until next year, with DHS funding extending through February 2nd. So there's that. Now, of course, when they say 8 Republicans decided to vote with the Democrats, who's probably front and center. Yes, John McCain. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't John McCain. He was in the Senate and he's dead. Oh no, it's Eye Patch McCain, Dan Crenshaw, who's also trending right now. Dan Crenshaw, 68. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Where is it? First of the no votes, or the empty suits who didn't show up to do their jobs, is Dan Crenshaw. Eye Patch McCain has an office number. Okay, they put his office number up there to call him. He's one of the ones who voted against it. Unbelievable. 3 Texas Republicans voted against impeaching, or did not attend the vote for impeaching Alejandro Mayorkas. That would be Crenshaw, Fallon, and Williams. Today, Congressman Dan Crenshaw, Morgan Luttrell, Troy Nehls, and Randy Weber joined the Congressman Wesley Hunt in writing the U.S. Department of Defense urging fair consideration for proposals to use Defense Production Act resources on onshore critical mining. Okay, that's a whole different thing. I'm just saying, it's like, what good are they right now? What good are they? Now, here's, I have an article on that too. Here we go. The GOP reps vote with Democrats to kill motion to impeach Secretary Mayorkis. The U.S. House voted Monday to refer articles of impeachment against the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkis to committee. The resolution was introduced by Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene on Thursday. The House did not end up voting on the legislation as 8 Republicans voted with Democrats to refer the resolution to committee, which effectively kills it, of course. Or at least for a long time. It'll take it forever to get out of committee. It depends on who's running the committee and if they'll even bring it up. Within the past 23 months since the beginning of fiscal year 2022, there have been at least 269 known or suspected terrorists that have been apprehended between ports of entry at the border, and likely many more among the gotaways. Our border is wide open and Americans are dying every day. It's time for Congress to hold the Biden administration. This is the resolution. For the Biden administration, hold the Biden administration council. It's time to impeach Mayorkis. Tonight, the House will vote on the Democrat motion to table or kill my articles of impeachment against Mayorkis. Every Republican should stand strong and vote against the motion, Greene said on Twitter before the vote. On X, it's no longer X. Stop dead naming X. So anyway, these are the 8 Republicans who voted with Democrats. California Representative Darrell Issa, which is surprising. North Carolina Representative Virginia Foxx. Colorado Representative Ken Buck, no surprise. Oregon Representative Cliff Benz. Ohio Representative Mike Turner. North Carolina Representative Patrick McHenry. California Representative Tom McClintock. And California Representative John Duarte. But Eye Patch McCain didn't show up. How could 3 Texas congressmen not show up for this vote? I mean, what state is being affected by this the most? Texas, right? You think they would show up. All right, other things trending. March for Israel is trending. There is apparently, let's see, is it today? It says, this is 2 hours ago. Wait, here we go. Come join thousands at the March for Israel rally Tuesday in D.C. at noon. So that's happening today in about just over an hour. It's interesting. Someone puts up, they riot, we pray. Earlier today at the White House, apparently a bunch of people, supporters of Israel showed up and prayed in front of the White House instead of trying to break in and burn shit down or burn shit. So now, and then there's still people, thou shalt not march for Israel. They're committing genocide and apartheid. No, they're not. God, they don't know it. I guess maybe people who keep calling it apartheid just don't understand what that is. See, this was supposed to be the 2-state solution, and for whatever reason, there's not a whole lot of Jews living in Gaza, right? You can't have apartheid in Gaza because they don't allow Jews to live there. And in Israel, there's plenty of Muslims and Christians and all kinds. It's multicultural, the state, even though it's, run by mostly the Jewish people, but whatever, it's still a multicultural state. There's pride flags, there's all kinds of shit. Jimmy Doss, Texas has some terrible actors at the top of our party. We have local level reps owned by teachers unions. When they don't want to vote against school choice, they just don't vote. Yeah, it's a tactic for the establishment, or I don't even know what to call them, establishment, the uniparty wing of the Republican Party that just, go along, get along, get your, alms from the donors and whatever. It's messed up. So anyway, so there's a big march for Israel today. We'll see if that remains peaceful or if people try to attack them. They're hoping that they're expecting about 100,000 people. Maybe it'll be, well, here's 2 hours ago. What a beautiful picture from Washington today. My heart is with you. People there for the March for Israel. So we'll see how that one turns out. Hopefully there will be no, I know there'll be protesters against them, but hopefully there'll be no violence. Let's hope for that. And National Mall is also trending because that is where the the March for Israel will be. The Washington Post says thousands of people are expected to head to the nation's capital for the March for Israel rally on Tuesday. Organizers anticipate that 100,000 people will attend the event on the National Mall, according to a permit issued by the National Park Service. Now, oh gosh, and that's from a few days ago, so we'll skip that. And then finally, I think this is the last trending topic. Van Jones is trending, and he's trending because he's going to be one of the speakers at the March for Israel. Now, that's very curious, if you ask me. And wait, the speakers list. Wait till you see the speakers list, because I think, March for Israel, you think, hey, yeah, there's some going to be kind of a mix of, moderate and maybe some conservative people, whatever, and then then a lot of religious people. But here is someone here. This is the lineup for the March for Israel. This is the speakers, okay? Now, well, let me just, this tweet first explains why Van Jones. Okay, wait, what? Van Jones, the former Marxist who organized anti-war marches, the guy who compared Trump, who was referred to as the first Jewish president, to Hitler, is speaking at the March for Israel? I feel like I dropped acid on day one of COVID, and it's still going strong. So, it's just weird that Van Jones would be a speaker. And here are some of the speakers. Dr. Michelle Ford, Dillard University president. Not Jewish. Van Jones, author, lawyer, and civil rights advocate. Not Jewish, not Israeli. I'm confused. Deborah Messing, very left-wing actress, maybe Jewish, I don't know. Tova Feldshuh, it seems like she might be Jewish since by the name Tova. Broadway actress. Norm Sharansky, human rights activist and former political prisoner. I think he's reliably left-wing. Michael Rappaport, the foul-mouthed, Trump-hating, bitch-ass New Yorker who just makes stupid videos of him swearing about shit all the time. Okay, but he's Jewish, so okay. Omar Adam, musician, or Omer Adam, and then somebody named Ishay Rebo, who's also a musician, I'm assuming. So anyway, now here's how some people are treating this. Tomorrow's, quote, pro-genocide march, end quote, in D.C. has announced its guest speakers, including racists like Michael Rappaport and fake progressive like Van Jones. Wait a minute. Michael Rappaport's a racist now? How? Wait a minute. Racist? Michael Rappaport, Trump-hating, always calling other people racist, is racist? How did that happen? I don't know. It's crazy. But anyway, Van Jones has been a joke, but getting the president of an HBCU to speak on behalf of a regime that murdered over 4,000 children is especially disappointing. Oh, she's the president. Yeah, Dillard University HBCU. I don't understand. I could see if you had like the president of Brandeis University or some school that had some relation to Israel, or at least Jew. I don't get it. Why is Rochelle Ford speaking at the March for Israel? But then again, I can celebrate this. I can celebrate it because it's like, oh, okay, that's good. Someone who's the president of HBCU is speaking up for Israel and Jewish people and whatnot. But it's just weird, the lineup. I mean, especially Deborah Messing maybe, but Michael Rappaport, something's wrong here. He went against the narrative every little bit. It makes you an outcast. Yeah, he's going against the narrative, so he's a racist now. Good morning, Resolute Juror, by the way. So anyway, it's a lot of people criticizing Van Jones for this, though. Mark Lamont Hill, the activist professor, I think he's at Boston University, I think. Is it right? Yes. Oh, City University of New York now, presidential professor. Anyway, I'm profoundly disappointed that Van Jones is speaking at the March for Israel in D.C. In addition to the noble goals of fighting anti-Semitism and honoring innocent lives lost on 10/7, the march is also organized to affirm U.S. solidarity with the Israeli government that has not only been identified as an apartheid state by numerous human rights groups. Okay, no. Oh, That's as if you didn't know the history of the region to call it an apartheid state. Look, it's embarrassing that they do this. Anyway, but is actively committing multiple war crimes in a genocidal campaign against the people, against Hamas. A genocidal campaign? Again, someone not understanding what the word genocide means. He could be calling for a ceasefire. He could be decrying the use of indiscriminate, disproportionate force. There's no such thing as disproportionate force. One of the things that Ben Shapiro said, hey, England dropped a lot more bombs and there were a lot more civilian casualties in Germany during World War II than towards England. Is that disproportionate force? Explain the disproportionate force thing. And, they talk about, they're attacking hospitals. Well, if Hamas hides in and under hospitals, that's where you kill them. Okay? And I'm not a fan of killing. I'm not even a fan of war. I hate war. Okay? But I also understand that when someone commits an act of war of you, that you must do something to end the possibility of that happening again, and that's what they're doing. You may like it, you may not, but that's what they're doing. All right? So, hello, Renee Mayette. How you doing? So, he could be demanding that Democrats, liberal, progressives, and other members of the so-called left speak up. Instead, he's speaking at a rally in solidarity with an apartheid state. This is not what I would expect from someone who self-identifies as a fighter for human rights, democracy, social justice, shame. Yeah, but he did, at least, now, Mark Lamont Hill did something here that is a little bit odd for people who condemn Israel, right? He actually, in this little thing, said the noble goals of fighting anti-Semitism and honor innocent lives lost on 10/7. He actually at least acknowledged that happened. Because most don't. Most celebrate what happened on 10/7. So I got to give him credit where credit is due. Okay? I'm just saying. So, Marty, if you think Hamas isn't being used by Mossad, you've got another thing coming. Well, whether they are or not, that's where they hide, and that's where they're going to go get them. So anyway, I'm just like, oh no, Michael Harrod, he's speaking on behalf of the black community. Yeah, no, he's not. He's speaking, whatever. So anyway, he's getting shit for going off the rail there. From former director of the Bay Area Revolutionary Maoist Organization, Storm, to a speaker at this week's March for Israel genocide rally. It's not a genocide. Max Blumenthal, it's not a fucking genocide rally. And you're a shithead for saying that. And you're, I don't know. It's oh boy, it's all insane. All right, I'm not getting to anything other than these. I have lots of articles. By the way, a sad note for the Trump family. Marianne Trump Barry, former President Donald Trump's older sister, passed away on Monday at age 86, according to the New York City Police Department. Barry was a retired federal appellate judge, having stepped down in April 2019. Despite political disagreements, Donald Trump has historically referred to his sister as a highly respected judge. In her legal career, Barry served as federal prosecutor before receiving a nomination from then-President Ronald Reagan to the federal district court in New Jersey in 1983. She was later appointed by then-President Bill Clinton to the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit in 1999. Barry ceased hearing cases shortly after Donald Trump was inaugurated as president in 2017. So rest in peace, Marianne. I almost said Mary. Marianne Trump Barry. I heard about that. That's not gonna. I don't know. I saw something yesterday about, a Trump family member's died. It's going to affect the cases. No, it's not. It's not doing anything to the cases. There you go. Let's see. Moving on here. Let's just try to get to a few of these. Trump prosecutor Fani Willis. You know how people have been saying that, she's been they've been saying, she's using this to further her political career to prosecute Trump in Georgia. And it's kind of been, spot denials and stuff of that. Well, now, I didn't put the article in. Let me put the article in before I click that. Trump prosecutor Fani Willis hosts a high-dollar fundraiser in D.C. Oh, she's good. She's fundraising in D.C. Fani Willis, the Georgia district attorney leading the election meddling case against former President Donald Trump this week, is holding a campaign fundraiser in Washington, D.C., where seats are running as high as $6,600. The Washington Free Beacon has learned. $6,600 a seat? Damn! The fundraiser is being hosted by A. Scott Bolden, an attorney and a former chairman of the D.C. Democratic Party, according to an invitation obtained by the Free Beacon. And Bolden has slammed Trump as a charlatan. So, the high-dollar fundraiser comes as Republicans accuse Willis of using her prosecution of Trump to boost her political career. You think? Republican lawmakers in August opened an investigation into whether Willis's case is politically motivated. Seats at the event start at $250 per person and go up to $6,600. Damn! She's better than a hooker. Well, that's politicians, hooker. What's the difference? The fundraiser will take place on Wednesday evening at Reed Smith, a prominent D.C. law firm. So she's going to... Now, I'm curious what she's fundraising for. Is she running for governor or something? Or is she running for office in Georgia? And then all the Democrats love the fact that she's prosecuting Trump, so they're going to spend $6,600 to $250 to go see her? Interesting. Bolden declined to comment. Willis did not respond to a request for comment. So that's fascinating. Okay, so let's see. Now, what's this? What is this? Oh, and there's a ethics complaint against Judge Engoron, or whatever the hell his name is. While the jury is still out over whether the wife of Judge Arthur Engoron made anti-Trump posts on X, Representative Elise Stefanik, Republican of New York, has filed an ethics complaint against the judge himself, accusing him of displaying inappropriate bias and judicial intemperance towards a former president in his civil fraud trial taking place in New York. Quote from Stefanik, I filed an official judicial complaint against Judge Engoron for his inappropriate bias and judicial intemperance in New York disgraceful lawsuit against Donald J. Trump and the Trump Organization. Americans are sick and tired of the blatant corruption by radical leftist judges in New York. All New Yorkers must speak out against the dangerous weaponized lawfare against Trump. And then according to the complaint, Engoron exhibited clear judicial bias against Trump, including telling Trump's attorney that the former president is just a bad guy who New York Attorney General Letitia James should go after. So it's not like he hasn't made any statements that made it clear what his position on Donald Trump is. Simply put, Judge Engoron has displayed a clear judicial bias against the defendant throughout the case, breaking several rules in the New York Code of Judicial Conduct. And in fact, Judge Engoron entered a summary judgment against the defendant before the trial even began, without witnesses, other evidence, and cross-examinations. She continued, noting that this was despite the fact there's disputed material evidence and there's no victim of the defendant's supposed fraud. And that's the part of the case. There's so much of this case is just BS. Why am I getting Fs? Oh, because Marianne Trump died. So anyway, she lists several reasons of why he's falling outside of the limits of proper judicial conduct, and several reasons, so you can read more about that later. And also, Trump attorney Alina Habas plans to file a mistrial very soon in that case. Former President Donald Trump's attorney in the New York case, civil fraud case, announced her intentions to file for a mistrial very soon over the weekend, while demanding New York Attorney General Letitia James also to dismiss the case. Hobbs explained during an interview on Fox News that although she will file for a retrial immediately, the motion will depend on the same far-left judge, Arthur Engoron, who issued the gag order on the 45th president. The problem is, with all these things, such as filing a motion for recusal, which we have done twice, is that the judge has to be the one that decides, which he will not, but it just gives you appealable rulings. So that's why you have to do this. And maybe it goes to an appeals court and whatever. So good for her, because it shouldn't even be a bench trial. And yes, whoever said she's freaking hot, she's a fine individual. In legal insurrection, apparently the Democrats' media arm scrambles that becomes clear they knew about the Hamas invasion of Israel before it happened. So remember we had all these reporters there, like there was an article about how, or they're finding out that all the reporters were already there waiting for something to happen, as if they were, informed before October 7th. So reports have been bubbling up that the various tentacles of Democratic hacktivist media actually had, they crossed out pro-Hamas activists and put journalists in parentheses, embedded with Hamas before and on October 7th. What were they thinking? What were they doing? Why didn't they alert Israel about the impending attack, or alert Israel when the true evil taking place in front of their view, embedded with Hamas eyes, became crystal clear? Obviously, U.S. intel knew about these intel-directed journalists embedded with Hamas, so there was no need to alert the White House. They already knew. Now, they are reportedly in a panic mode because these things didn't go as they expected. The destruction of Israel is far from nigh, and the American people are far from siding with gruesome, barbaric evil over our historic ally, Israel. And they are trying to cover their cowardly terrorist-supporting asses. Well, where there must have been a Pulitzer Prize dream dancing in their heads, now it's all heads in the sand. Denial, denial, denial. Reuters makes a statement. Here's Reuters' statement. And they're all backtracking, but here, I'll just give you an example here. Reuters' statement on baseless speculation in honest reporting story. We are deeply concerned about the irresponsibility of honest reporting in publishing such damaging accusations. Wait a minute. This is Reuters talking. Reuters. The damaging accusations. Reuters. That's kind of synonymous, isn't it? The executive director has accepted that there is no evidence to support the incredibly incendiary insinuations in this report. The basic speculation in Honest Reporting's post, presented as raising ethical questions, has posed grave risks to journalists in the region, including those working for Reuters. The Israeli government and others amplified Honest Reporting's baseless speculation. Honest Reporting must take responsibility for the spread of misinformation. Oh, when they use the word misinformation, you can just chalk it up to being tried and true. It has triggered, and for the risk and reputational harm and inflammatory claims that have caused to journalists reporting on this conflict. It is the job of journalists to document important news as it unfolds. Oh, is that what they were doing? And to provide firsthand account of events on the ground. This is the essential role of a free press in war zones, and we remain fully committed to providing this coverage both from Israel and Gaza as the conflict continues. Reuters publishes fact-based news fairly, accurately, and independently in keeping with the Thomson Reuters trust principles in the Middle East and around the world. In other words, cover your ass. Anyway, but there's evidence that maybe, just maybe, there were journalists along with them who knew what was going on. In the New York Post, what is that? What's in the New York Post? Oh. Apparently a Democratic senator was accosted by a far-left journalist on Amtrak. I'm going to have you thrown off this train. Senator Chris Coons from Delaware threatened to have a far-left journalist thrown off an Amtrak train Monday after the lawmaker was asked about his resistance to calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. The Delaware Democrat was apparently riding in the quiet car of a locomotive when Gray Zone reporter Aaron Matei, who was seated across from Coons, apologized for putting him on the spot and demanded to know why the senator hasn't called for a ceasefire in Gaza. Who are you? The confused-looking Senator Coons asked the reporter who filmed their interaction. This is a quiet car. You're not supposed to be talking to me, the senator tells Matei after he identifies himself as a reporter. Coons then appears to scan the train car aisle, looking for someone to help him get out of the adversarial interview. Children are dying. U.S. weapons are killing kids in Gaza, Matei insists. Who are you? Coons asked before replying. Nice to meet you, Aaron. Please stop talking to me. Please stop. Please stop, Aaron. You are bothering me and everyone around you, the annoyed senator implores Matei, who persists with his line of questioning. Sir, can I please have some help here? He's bothering me while I'm trying to work. Coons complains to an Amtrak employee. So anyway, I know who Aaron Matei is. A good reporter, but you know what? I disagree with him on the Israel thing. And I know not everyone here disagrees with me on this Israel thing, but And that's cool. I'm glad we have some different opinions. I haven't seen anything to change mine yet, but I know a little. I know a little bit of the history of that area. But anyway, Alan Dershowitz says, "Does the First Amendment protect anti-Israel protests?" Okay, I'm going to give you the short answer. Yeah, it does. And unless they're making absolute threats to people, I guess I don't know where he goes with this. But yes, it does. You can talk shit about Israel if you want to. Now, I guess it's the question is whether or not some of the protests are making threats, or if they're doing violent things, then it's not necessarily a First Amendment issue. It's a criminal issue. So, but it's an interesting article. I suggest you check it out. Also in the Day of the Caller, we talked about Hochul conducting social media surveillance efforts to monitor hate speech, which FDG Kathy Hochul. In the Federalist, the U.S. government gave $1 million to an AI startup that helped blacklist companies spreading so-called disinformation. Isn't this special? The National Science Foundation's Director for Technology Innovation and Partnerships is helping tech developers build artificial intelligence programs that suppress digital speech by starving online companies of ad revenue and isolating them from the financial system. So this is another place where maybe the federal government needs to keep their grimy mitts out of the public domain, and they need to be told to fuck off. It's none of their business what anyone else says, and your artificial removing of our speech is unconstitutional, motherfuckers. As part of the Small Business Innovation Research Program second phase, the Massachusetts-based Automated Controversy Detection, Inc. received just over $940,000 for a project titled A Controversy Detection Signal for Finance. The company received $225,000 during the first phase of the program for the same project, for a total of just under $1.2 million. In the words of Andrew Breitbart, fuck you. Apparently, shut up. Tucker Carlson was marching through the streets of right-wing Spaniards in solidarity against the socialist government. That's interesting. Tucker Carlson in a protest in Spain. Very interesting. Protesting with a group called, I think, Vox, I believe. Vox, yeah, with the head of Vox of Spain amidst a socialist coup. Tucker was heard telling one protester he feels sorry for them. Told one woman in the video interview that he's decided to visit Madrid because the protests are not getting the coverage it deserves. So there's big coverage. Apparently there was a kind of okay, so there's the Spain. Did they elect a socialist government? Anyway, thousands of protesters took the street on Sunday to protest acting Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's plan to give amnesty to Catalan separatists in exchange for their political support. That's been a hotbed issue in Spain for a long time. So if you want to read up on that, you can catch up on it real quick. Also in Breitbart, return of the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Biden administration squabbles over Asia trade deal as Xi Jinping visit looms. The Biden administration is trying to piece together a trade deal, report suggested on Sunday, called the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. So not the TPP anymore, but the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. Didn't we get rid of this nonsense before? That might give the U.S. economy a boost before Election Day without looking like capitulation to China or alienating labor unions. Let's see how the unions react to this. The process of stitching this deal over the past year has reportedly been awkward and disorganized, so the end result is unlikely to be a work of beauty. Gee, the Biden administration? Unorganized, awkward, and the big guy with his speech impediment, which is really a brain impediment. That's interesting. So with that APEC, the Asian Pacific Economic Conference happening in San Francisco, that they cleaned up all the shit off the streets and kicked all the homeless people out. The boss, Biden's boss, is coming to town Biden's boss is coming to town. Biden's boss is coming to town. Xi Jinping is coming to town. So they're trying to get a little economic boost just before the election. Gee, why'd you wait till now? I don't know. Just the election coming up. Anyway, also Biden administration is seeking a nickel deal. Not nickel back, but a nickel deal with foreign country after tanking domestic mining. Remember, there was a huge nickel mining project in northern Minnesota. Minnesota is one of the mining capitals of the country, right? Especially for iron ore and things like that. Well, they were going to do a big nickel mining project in Minnesota, and the Biden administration killed the nickel mining project in Minnesota. Well, guess what? The Biden administration is reportedly working on a deal to source nickel, a key material for the administration's electric vehicle push, from Indo-fucking-nesia, according to Reuters. China plays a large role in the Indonesian nickel extraction and refining industries, and the administration is reportedly aiming to construct a deal with Indonesia that would prevent China from cashing in on U.S. subsidies from the Inflation Reduction Act. Wait a minute. Why the ever-living classic fuck are we worried about U.S. subsidies from Chinese or Indonesian nickel mining? What does that even mean? Would prevent China from cashing in on U.S. subsidies. Why would we subsidize anything from China? The reported negotiations with Indonesia are just the latest example of Biden's anywhere but America, any worker but American mining policy. Republican Representative Pete Stauber of Minnesota, whose district would have benefited from one of the tanked mining projects, told the Daily Caller News Foundation. Yeah, so they canned a nickel mining project in Minnesota with Minnesota labor and Minnesota jobs and Minnesota money and this and that, and said, nope, we're going to send it to Indo-fucking-nesia. Motherfuckers. All right, I'm running out of time. Headlines only. And legal insurrection. No climate justice on occupied land. We watched that yesterday. See, we're on this show. We're ahead of the headlines sometimes. That was when Greta Thunberg. No climate justice on occupied land. And Breitbart, illegal aliens are fleeing sanctuary cities to go back to their native country. It's saying the American dream doesn't exist anymore. Holy shit. I guess that's a good thing. Border crosses and illegal aliens are fleeing sanctuary cities in the United States. Well, that's because all the sanctuary cities are Democrat shitholes. Anyway, interviews with the Chicago Tribune, some nearly 21,000 border crossers and illegal aliens who have arrived in the sanctuary city of Chicago, Illinois, said they wish they had never made the journey up to the United States. Hey, I know a lot of Chicago residents who feel exactly the same fucking way. So don't let the door hit you in the ass. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Get the fuck out. That's simple. All right, in the day of the caller, Blue City doesn't expect to have all the votes counted until 3 weeks after Election Day. Apparently, the Seattle City Council general election results have not been announced for nearly a week after the election day, as the Elections Committee continues to count votes. Well, if it's paper ballots, I'm fine with that. I don't know how they're counting them. Apparently, the election results will not be made official until November 28th, although the King County elections will continue to update the unofficial results daily until all the votes have been accounted for. Yeah, that was from last Tuesday. That's over a week. But, hey, if they're accurate, I'd be much happier than just saying, oh, they declared a winner. In legal insurrection, Stacey Abrams' Georgia voting group accused of financial misuse and irregularities. Oh, shocker! Shocker! I can't believe that. I can't believe it. You can read more about it. It's a mess, though, I'll tell you that. New York Post, Biden rips prick ex-Obama guru David Axelrod as 2024 tensions grow. So Biden's a little mad at David Axelrod. Remember David Axelrod was saying, oh, well, maybe Joe Biden needs to step his tired old ass aside. And so President Biden has disparaged veteran Democratic political strategist David Axelrod as a prick for questioning whether the commander-in-chief should seek a second term. Oh, I love blue on blue crime. So anyway, there's a whole article about that bullshit. Daily Wire, political statistician airs concerns over Dems running a Biden re-election ticket. They suggested on Monday that the Democratic Party should consider finding a new candidate to run for the White House in 2024 if Joe Biden fails to run a normal campaign, becoming the latest analyst to cite concerns about his chances of winning a second term. That's Nate Silver, though. Nate Silver's an interesting dude. I don't think he wants Biden to run either, especially with his low approval rating. But so he's saying they're taking a huge risk by. He says, wait, who's this? Democrats would be taking a huge risk by replacing Biden, but they're also taking a huge risk by nominating him. Okay, there's a famous quote about this too, and I think it was Albert Einstein who said this. Duh. And on that note, I'm not even telling you the rest of the headlines. There's about 20 more articles you can read in the notes today. I'll put them in the link, in the one chat link, in the what do you call it? The chat during the outro. I'm going to put that in there. And then also if everything we've done already. I thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I wish I had more time, but I don't. Hopefully I'll be a little more on time tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. I got to go. My name is P Dog Night, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P Dog Night, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Night, and I'm out of here.